I never imagined my life would become a warning story for others. For years, I believed my marriage was strong, built on trust, shared dreams, and quiet understanding. My name is Emily Carter, and this is the story of how emotional betrayal destroyed my marriage, not in one dramatic moment, but slowly, silently, and painfully. My husband Ryan and I lived in Austin, Texas. We met in college, fell in love through late-night conversations and future plans scribbled on coffee shop napkins. Ryan was ambitious, charming, and deeply social. I was more reserved, preferring meaningful connections over crowds. At first, our differences felt balanced. Over time, they became cracks. Ryan worked in real estate, and his circle was tight, 4 men he had known for years: Mark, Jason, Luke, and Daniel. They were always around. Weekend barbecues, game nights, business dinners, our home slowly became a gathering place. I tried to be welcoming. I believed that being a good wife meant supporting my husband's world. At first, everything felt normal. Laughter filled the house. Conversations stayed light, but gradually, something shifted. The jokes became inside jokes I didn't understand. The looks between Ryan and his friends lasted a second too long. When I entered a room, conversations stopped. I told myself I was imagining things. Ryan began changing too. He became distant, distracted. He listened less. Our late-night talks disappeared, replaced by his phone lighting up with messages he never explained. When I asked, he brushed it off. Just work stuff. You're overthinking. That sentence became his favorite weapon. One evening, after another tense dinner, Mark stayed behind to help clean up. Ryan had stepped outside to take a call. Mark looked at me differently than before, concerned, heavy, as if he carried something he didn't know how to say. "Emily," he said quietly, "are you okay?" The question caught me off guard. No one had asked me that in months. "I'm fine," I replied, though my voice betrayed me. He nodded but didn't look convinced. "You deserve honesty. That's all I'll say." That night, sleep wouldn't come. His words echoed in my mind. The next few weeks were unbearable. Jason avoided eye contact. Luke stopped coming over. Daniel looked guilty every time our paths crossed. I felt like the only person in the room who didn't know the truth. The truth came one rainy evening when Ryan didn't come home. His phone was on the kitchen counter. It buzzed. I never checked his messages before, but something inside me broke. I opened it. What I found wasn't physical detail or graphic messages. It was worse. Long conversations about me, without me. Discussions about my emotions, my reactions, my vulnerabilities. Jokes at my expense. Plans made without my knowledge. Emotional lines crossed again and again. My marriage had become a topic of entertainment, and I had become a character instead of a partner. Ryan had allowed his friends into our private world. He shared frustrations instead of communicating with me. They encouraged distance instead of repair. Boundaries disappeared. Respect followed. When Ryan returned the next morning, I was sitting at the kitchen table. "We need to talk," I said calmly. He tried to deflect. I didn't let him. I told him what I knew. I told him how betrayed I felt. How unsafe my own home had become. For the first time, he didn't deny it. He looked ashamed. But shame didn't undo damage. "I didn't think it would hurt you," he said. That sentence ended our marriage. Because betrayal doesn't begin with actions, it begins with permission. We tried counseling. We tried space. But trust doesn't return when it's publicly broken. I no longer felt like his wife. I felt like an outsider in my own life. 6 months later, I moved out. The divorce was quiet. No screaming. No courtroom drama. Just 2 people acknowledging that something sacred had been mishandled beyond repair. I moved to Denver, Colorado, rebuilt my life, and learned something important. Infidelity isn't always physical. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's allowing others access to parts of your relationship that should be protected. Sometimes it's choosing validation over commitment. Today, I'm stronger, wiser, more aware of boundaries and self-respect. This isn't a story of shame. It's a story of awakening. And if you're listening, trust your instincts. Silence often hides the loudest truths.